Hurricane Melissa has become a powerful Category 4 hurricane, and the strengthening likely isn't done quite yet. It's got Jamaica in its sights and has the potential to bring catastrophic impacts. Bayne, all the adjectives, catastrophic, devastating, you name it, is headed right towards that beautiful island nation.
Exactly, and we've seen a period of extreme rapid intensification with Melissa. Just look at the jump we've made since yesterday. From 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday to this morning, we saw 70 to 140. Now, this is a rapid intensification times 2. Kiyana, this was expected, but it's quite shocking. And people in Jamaica need to be in shelter now, need to be on high alert with tropical storm conditions just on their doorstep.
They sure do, because the next couple of hours, Bayne, are going to be crucial to the time of preparing. I think by this time, say tomorrow going into Tuesday morning, we're going to be watching a good chance of this making a direct impact to Jamaica and that landfall during that time frame too. Until then, there's an opportunity for a couple of things to change. So let's kind of dive into things. One of the things I've been watching is the eye wall that has become super pronounced. There is a clear-cut indication of where that eye wall is within the storm. And then on top of that, you see these dark shadings of purple that pop up, the cold cloud tops, meaning that these storms are still really bubbling up and developing as they make that approach closer towards Jamaica. Bayne just talked about the rapid intensification that was underway. We had a double rapid intensification, but since the last advisory, we've seen a couple of things change within the numbers. One of them has been the pressure. We are watching as the pressure continues to drop, a clear indication that this is starting to really intensify. Even beyond this, we could see possibly even a Category 5 storm going into the next couple of hours, or if not, next day or so. With that being said, we have Jamaica under the hurricane warning. We also have hurricane watches and thunderstorm warning, or excuse me, tropical storm warnings up between Haiti and Cuba. These are areas that may feel the outskirts, those outer bands of Melissa before it moves off towards the north and out towards the Atlantic. Jamaica, unfortunately, the entire island has the brunt of the worst impacts. Heavy rain, we're talking feet of rain, winds up to 150 miles per hour or even beyond that heading into tomorrow. Looking at the storm, we're starting to see some of that rain, a couple of heavier bouts of showers push into southern Jamaica. We've been watching that over the course of this week happen across Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So now we're going on to days of seeing that rain there. But with Kingston back towards Montego Bay, rain starting to pour on in. This is just the very beginning of what's going to be an active, say, 48 hours or so for the island nation of Jamaica. And Nick made a great point. Looking at the live radar here out of Jamaica, you can almost see the outer bands of that eye wall as it approaches closer and closer to the southern and eastern side of the island. Unfortunately, from here on out, we are looking at a thumbs up to everything. All of the ingredients are in place. We have low wind shear. Moisture is becoming a really good moisture source for this system as it pushes in. And then the Caribbean is still very warm. It's untapped with temperatures up to 85 degrees.
All right, let's continue talking about Melissa here in our 4-point segment. This is typically when all of us meteorologists get around and we talk about the buzziest topic of the day in terms of the weather world. And obviously today it is all about Melissa. We've got Bayne, we've got Kiyana, and joining us this hour, Marissa Torres. Marissa, we love to see you. We hate the circumstances that we're under, but we love to see you. And we want to get your take because we've been talking about Melissa all morning long, and there are just so many impacts that are going to be coming to the island of Jamaica. It's almost tough to keep track of them all. You've got the wind, the heavy rain, the flooding, and honestly, the storm surge is one of those that may be buried, you know, the lead of that may get buried with all of the other impacts, but it's going to be huge, especially on the east side of the landfall.
Yeah, every impact has the potential to be catastrophic and life-threatening, truly. When it comes to storm surge, we've actually seen some increase in surge potential here, now up to 13 feet. Of course, the higher surge, as you guys know, will be to the east of that center. So we have to see exactly where Melissa decides to make that landfall. But this could be truly catastrophic for those areas much closer to the coast. When you talk about the potential for surge up to 13 feet, almost what we saw with Hurricane Gilbert, but you are talking about some of these more populated areas. Kingston, the capital, where we have about 1 million people. You're talking about the extent of that surge coming in over dry land, right? So where it's not typically dealing with ocean water. And then also when you consider the fact that we have that potential for about 3 feet of rain. Kingston is also where we have the airport, as you saw. It's on this spit of land that extends from the main island. You're talking about a narrow road that it could very likely be covered in water. The same with the airport. And looking at the surge potential, you guys, with that landfall, it'll be an immediate threat. And then the hope would be to get that water back out. But in the meantime, it's going to come with large breaking waves. And again, that onshore wind that's going to be incredibly, incredibly ferocious.
Yeah, and you know, Kiyana, it's the storm surge, so it's the salt water, and then also the fresh water threat. Those two things, I think, are going to come together, possibly inundating parts of the island.
I would agree with that 100%. We have the totals up for the rain still to come here because we're looking at anywhere between about 2 to 3 feet of rain, and I think for the areas, it's really the entirety of the island, but those areas off towards, say, the south and east, I think we'll see those impacts first. So Marissa said it well. We could have a small, roadway that can quickly be covered with water, whether it be the salt water or the fresh water. And then on top of that, this is a really mountainous terrain. So seeing all this rain kind of dump out over this island could lead to a lot of that flooding concern over the next couple of days.
Yeah. And Kiyana, I'm glad you brought up the terrain because that is a major factor into what is going to be happening, why this could be so catastrophic. Because, okay, you put that amount of rain anywhere, it's going to cause some serious, serious problems. On top of this, the storm surge. But what makes Jamaica so interesting is it has this beautiful topography, these beautiful mountains, but that causes so many issues when we have so much of that rain where we can end up seeing landslides. And those happen very quickly. It's tough to escape out of those. And these cover roads completely. They devastate homes and towns. And again, this happens so fast that almost no time to even react in these situations. So again, this topography is going to be causing a bit of issues. And especially onto that eastern side where we are mostly going to be watching for the most rain coming in, as well as where we could end up looking at that system actually making landfall, Melissa making landfall near this part of the island. Well, the more western side still has quite a few mountains, but they're not quite as high. I mean, the Blue Mountains reach almost 7,500 feet, while mountains a little bit more to the west, more so about 2,000 feet, which is still high. But again, it's going to be devastating, especially near Kingston, where that is the capital of the island. And many people live there. Millions are living over there. And that's a spot that is going to be getting storm surge, like we mentioned over there with Marissa, as well as that intense amount of rain you mentioned, Kiyana. And then put that all together, and we have this topography where we have these intense, large mountains that can just cause so many landslides so quickly.
Yeah, you run from the water and you hide from the wind, right? And I think with this, probably a lot of the headlines are going to be based around the wind speeds. As eventually, you just saw it right there, this is likely to strengthen to a Category 5 storm. So we could be seeing headlines that say Melissa packing 160-mile-per-hour winds. And you notice it spins counterclockwise, right? And the heaviest, gustiest winds always come in on the right side or the northeast quadrant of the storm. So we have that labeled right there. The reason for that is that's when the wind spends the most time over the frictionless ocean. So there's nothing to stop the wind from gaining momentum. There's no buildings or trees to break up the wind. But also you'll notice the wind field is pretty big with this. And if this does undergo that eye wall replacement that we've been talking about all morning long, then the wind field would expand. And that's why even the northern end of the island is going to be bearing the brunt of really, really gusty winds as well. So, guys, it's not like it's just the southern shores of Jamaica. It's northeast, southwest. Nothing about this island is getting spared.
Right. And I want to mention this, too, because you were talking about the intensification, rapid intensification it's already gone through. I mean, you guys, if you were joining us earlier yesterday morning, we were looking at a tropical storm, a 70-mile-per-hour winds, and now we're at 140 miles per hour winds. That's a rapid intensification times 2, double rapid intensification within 24 hours. This system has been rocking and rolling, a monster already at this point, you guys. And I mean, in my opinion, I think this could definitely be a Cat 5 in the coming hours, coming day or so.
When you talk about the peak strength, also remembering this is our third Category 5 of the season. We had Aaron and we had Humberto, which I know you guys have talked about. But there's only been one other season in history that we've had more than 2 Cat 5s, and that was 2005, a season that featured Wilma, that featured Katrina. I mean, you're talking about a very serious, catastrophic sort of setup when you introduce land to this powerful hurricane. I'm very worried for Jamaica. Some of these communities could be cut off for days, if not weeks, because of the landslide potential. The wind element, as Nick pointed out, with the mountains could actually increase some of the winds as they try to get through some of the valleys. So if it comes in with winds of 150, 160, we could see even stronger gusts, which may not even be registered because they are so powerful. Big concerns, right? And landfall would be what? Late Monday into early Tuesday, potentially.
Yeah, and Marissa, I'm glad you brought up 2005. I hate to frame it like this, but in '05, gosh, did the USA get hit, right? Luckily for us, we haven't seen a landfall yet. So that's the distinction between that historic season and this historic season. And Colorado State, if you remember at the beginning of the season, they only predicted 3 major hurricanes. So we're above that. And that's just an interesting little tidbit, I think, about the 2025 season. We're at 4.
Majors?
This would be 4.
This is 4th major.
Yeah.
Okay, which...
And I mean, I also want to, you can't think about Jamaica without thinking about 1988, which is what I believe Hurricane Gilbert.
Yeah.
And that was a Category 4 storm and caused mass devastation to that island too. And I mean, this, if it becomes a Cat 5 and makes landfall as a Cat 5, this would be the first time for that island in recorded record history. So for them, so this is going to be devastating no matter what, even with just the rounds and rounds of rain that we've been seeing.
It's been 30 years since they've seen anything like this. So a whole generation has gone by, and they don't know what possibly could be happening. So, Kiyana, this is going to be something we're going to keep a close eye on.